computerized. From the Magic City, the sun and fun capital of the world, Miami, Florida, through the incredible speed of the NCR 315 computer, Warner Productions proudly presents the all-time heavyweight championship tournament. Hi, boxing fans. This is Murray Warner from Miami Convention Hall with the 7th fight in the all-time heavyweight boxing tournament. Tonight's match, 15 rounds or less, sends Jim Jeffries, the mighty Boilermaker, against that wizard of the ages, Grandpappy Jersey Joe Walcott. This computerized match is made possible through the cooperation of Ring Magazine, the City of Miami, Hank Kaplan, president of the World Boxing Historians Association, and Chris and Angelo Dundee. We'll be back in just a minute with Guy LeBeau, our blow-by-blow announcer, and our pre-fight show. Now, here's the guy who'll be bringing us the action, Guy LeBeau.
Thank you very much, Maury Warner. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This has to be one of the toughest fights to figure out of any that we've had so far, in my opinion. Will Jim Jeffries, with his tremendous power and ability to withstand punishment, take Walcott out of there? Or will Jersey Joe, who has quite a punch of his own, dazzle the Boilermaker with his more modern style and perhaps outbox him?
Walcott's a 7-5 favorite, our odds maker Jimmy the Greek Snyder of Las Vegas says, and 6 of the 10 men on our panel of experts pick Walcott.
We asked Joe himself how he thought a bout with Jeffries would have gone.
I think I must say this first. I think the modern day fighter, I think, has every advantage over the fellas back in that era. I think the fighters of today have a little more know-how, a little more skill, and much more ability, and better developed. I think I could do very well against him. I think that I could win.
Well, it's not likely that Walcott is going to tire Jeffries out. After all, the Boilermaker could go the distance. He boxed 3 20-round fights, a 23-rounder and a 25-rounder against Jim Corbett. Big Jeff took a licking for 22 rounds and then knocked Corbett out in the 23rd, and what a man he must have been.
Jeffries retired undefeated, just as did Rocky Marciano, except that he made the mistake of coming back. That was the big mistake. And Jack Johnson, the Galveston Giant, knocked him out. The only defeat of the Boilermaker's career. Jim Jeffries, a 6'2½" for tonight's fight, weighing 225 pounds. And what a figure of a man, built like a concrete block. He only had 23 pro fights, you know, but what a bomber he was. He knocked out 16 of the 23. He won the heavyweight championship from Bob Fitzsimmons in the 13th fight of his career.
Walcott's an entirely different fighter in that he fought 11 years before he won a title. Now, this was a man who didn't quit, though. Jersey Joe went 15 rounds to a decision with Joe Louis and knocked the Brown Bomber down, but still lost. He lost Louis again and once to Ezra Charles before he took the crown from Charles. Joe won 30 by knockouts in 67 fights, so you can see he wasn't exactly a cream puff puncher. He was a two-fisted hitter with a left hook right out of the book and a solid right cross. Unlike Jeffries, Walcott was a good defensive man and a quality counterpuncher. You know, Guy, there's some question about the one loss that Jeffries did take, and we asked Jess Willard about it.
Jim Jeffries, a great big rugged fellow and a hard fellow to beat. Of course, when he fought Johnson, he was gone. He's all out and a sick man. Before he went into the ring, he was sick. And he tried to get in condition, but his whole system wouldn't stand up under it. Jeffries, in his prime, he'd lick anybody. He did. He licked everybody and held the title for several years.
Jeffries is 24 years old for this fight, while Jersey Joe Walcott is 37. He won the title at 37 and nearly became the only man in history to knock off Rocky Marciano at age 38, one of the most unusual careers in ring history. Marciano has a lot of respect for Walcott. We asked The Rock about it.
Jersey Joe Walcott was a great fighter the night I fought him. I'm very proud to say I beat a great fighter on that particular night. I would like to say that Jersey Joe Walcott taught me many things, showed me he had guts and courage and durability and all of the things that make up a great professional. I want to thank Jersey Joe Walcott for bringing out the best in me. I really didn't know I had that much going for me until I fought a Walcott who made me come from behind, come from the floor to win the title in an impressive style.
All right, how would you predict a Walcott-Jeffries fight?
I guess I guess Jeffries has a little bit of the edge here in that he has practically become a legend. But just on the image of what we know today, I think you might have to say Jeffries.
That's a really interesting analysis, and here's what Hank Kaplan, former president of the World Boxing Historians Association, thought of Jeffries.
Jim Jeffries was one of the strongest of the heavyweight division. This guy was a real bull. He was a hard puncher. He was a guy who could take it till the cows came home. And I mean take it. A lot of his fights reflect his ability to take it for many, many rounds. And then suddenly he would erupt in the later rounds and knock his opponent out. He was the kind of a guy who could come on after taking a serious beating and still have the power to knock out a highly classed heavyweight.
Jack Kearns had an interesting observation about Joe Walcott.
Joe gets set, give you that little shuffle, feint you with that left hand, and bomb you with that right hand, and he'd hurt anybody.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back here to Miami Convention Hall for some more expert predictions and comments about tonight's fight.
Back at Miami Convention Hall, just a few minutes before our seventh fight of the computerized all-time heavyweight championship tournament, the match between Jim Jeffries, the giant Boilermaker, and stylish Jersey Joe Walcott, the fighting grandfather.
We were speaking to Jack Sharkey, another ex-champion, about Walcott and Jeffries.
I think I'd favor Walcott in that respect, because Walcott was shifty, a good boxer, and move on his feet. What I'm talking about, a fella can handle his body and move around and adjust himself to circumstances, while the other fella be just coming in the straight line, and Walcott will be peppering him with left hooks or left jabs. And I'd favor Walcott in that fight.
Another ex-champion, Jimmy Braddock, likes Jeffries.
Jersey Joe Walcott, he'd have to lose to Jeffries. Jeffries was the Boilermaker, and they say he was built like one, and he could punch like nobody's business.
And now for another representative of the old school, Mr. Nat Fleischer, publisher, editor of the Ring Record Book.
Jim Jeffries was one of the toughest men in the heavyweight division of recent years. Jeffries possessed a tremendous wallop. He could hit as hard as anybody of the recent years. In hitting power, I'd stack him up against Dempsey or Lewis or Marciano. Jersey Joe Walcott is an enigma. He didn't really show his wares to any extent until he had reached, I think, past his prime. But what he did exhibit in his fights with Ezra Charles and with Marciano would indicate that Jersey Joe did have a very powerful sock. I don't think that a Jeffries-Walcott fight would have gone very long. I think Jeffries would have stopped him within 5 or 6 rounds easily.
Now, just a reminder about our all-time heavyweight tournament contest. There's still time to enter. Entry forms are available in most cities where this series is being carried from local advertisers and through your station. Enter as often as you like. All you need to do is pick the winners of all 15 fights in the tournament. Tell us how they won the fights. Re-enter if you make a mistake on a given fight during the first 8 fights. If entry blanks are not available where you live, send a stamped return address envelope to Contest, Box 550, Perrine, Florida. That's Contest, Box 550, Perrine, Florida. We'll send one, and the contest rules. There's nothing to buy, and the grand prize is a magnificent 26-foot Seabird sedan cruiser, completely equipped, the world's largest trailerable boat. From Seabird Industries of Hialeah, Florida. This dreamboat comes equipped with full flotation, a 200-horsepower OMC engine, galley, head, bunks, and many more choice accessories, and is valued at $12,000. Earliest postmark counts, and you can win the boat, a week for 2 at the fabulous Algiers Hotel on Miami Beach, a Johnson diving buoy, or one of 10 gold commemorative rings being custom-made for this tournament by Regal Crest Jewelry of Miami, the same people who are making our $10,000 gold and diamond championship belt. Contest closes midnight, November 5th. Enter often, earliest postmark counts. In the event of ties, a runoff contest will be held. contest void where prohibited by law. Seems like controversy is always with us in boxing. Angelo Dundee, by the way, disagrees with his brother Chris on tonight's fight.
These guys in those olden days were tough, strong, desirous. But the thing that always sticks in my mind was they were tough, strong, and desirous with the type of talent that was around in those days. But I don't know how they're going to fare with the talent they're going to mix with.
That sounds like a vote for Walcott, Angelo.
Well, Joe Walcott was my kind of fighter. He was the kind of fella that would give you a lot of nothing and hit you with plenty of something. He would feint you out of moves. Walcott had the original alley shuffle. I see this definitely as a knockout. I don't think the strength and endurance of a Jeffries will be able to withstand the cunning and the punch of a Walcott.
Now, as Guy is heading down for ringside, where we'll be joining him in just a few minutes for the blow-by-blow of this fight, let's take time out for this message. Once again tonight, our Miami Convention Hall has a capacity crowd for this dream fight as we get ready for this 7th fight in the preliminary round of the tournament. Jersey Joe Walcott, a great gentleman, great fighter, and the Boilermaker, the man who seemed indestructible during his fighting career, Jim Jeffries. The great Joe Louis had an interesting comment about tonight's fight.
And Walcott by the smartest of any fighter ever in the ring, so I would think he'd have the chance anyway.
When you say smartest, ring-wise?
Ring-wise, yeah. You know, he moves. You got all good moves. You got good moves in the ring. You know, and he can make you do things that you didn't want to do. You know, make you start a punch and you know, and he probably may be 10 or 12 feet from you, and you make you start a punch. You know, make you start a punch at him. And he had no idea of coming in on you, but he make you think that he's gonna come in on you, so you make you get ready to make you move that throw a punch something that you think coming in. But Walcott is very smart.
I guess it's pretty clear then how our fight shapes up. Jim Jeffries, the mighty Boilermaker, never beaten until he came out of retirement, coming in with his clubhouse style, throwing crushing punches, but without much style or generalship, against Joe Walcott, an older man who fights with all the wisdom and resourcefulness of experience. Now, in just 1 minute, as we wrap up our pre-fight show, we'll join Guy at ringside.
Now, down at ringside, looking around Convention Hall here in Miami, there are just no empty seats as you might expect. This crowd is looking forward to a great battle, of course, between Walcott and Jeffries, as our NCR 315 computer churns away, digesting hundreds of thousands of items, and in 300 billionths of a second will decide each punch of this fight.
A while ago, we heard Rocky Marciano predict how he thought this fight would come out. He picked Jeffries after telling us how great Walcott was. Here's what The Rock thought of Jeffries.
Jim Jeffries was the man that was the strong Boilermaker, the man that probably was the strongest of any heavyweight of all time in body makeup, a man that I guess had condition and strength and durability.
I guess it's on that basis, then, that Rocky picks Jeffries to win tonight.
I think we should remember, too, that Jeffries is not likely to be worn out by Walcott's tactics, no matter what they are, because Jeffries was used to going 20 to 25 rounds of head-to-head slugging back at the turn of the century.
Here's referee Ruby Goldstein now up in the ring, leaning over the top rope, kidding around with some of his friends at ringside. The great Ruby has refereed some of the finest title fights in history. Naturally, we're particularly proud that he is the third man in the ring for this mythical tournament. Here's Jersey Joe approaching the ring. No doubt about how the crowd feels about him. Joe looking calm, imperturbable, but probably not feeling any of those things. Joe has a reach of 74 inches, the best punch, a left hook. His right cross is regarded as darned effective, too. He's a two-fisted attacker and a fairly good defensive fighter using the Walcott shift, now occasionally called the Ali shuffle when Cassius Clay puts it into play. Joe does counterpunch fairly well. He comes into the ring tonight at 194 pounds. Here he is smiling a little at something his manager and trainers have said to him as he climbs into the ring. Walcott looking out at the crowd now. There's the cheer that must mean one thing. Here comes Jim Jeffries. Jeffries climbs onto the ring apron, his manager, Bill Brady, making that "you first" gesture as Jeffries climbs through the ropes, looking just like a concrete block, square, hard, solidly muscled. Tough to believe that anything could hurt him. Running down the record on Jim, his best punch is slamming left to the body, and he likes to land right hands to the body, too. He's a crouching club-type fighter, by the way, who innovated that style, but you'll probably see him use a number of stances tonight. He can be hit, but seems impossible to hurt. He's in our mythical ring at 225 pounds. He has a slight 2.5-inch reach advantage over Joe, and from his appearance, you'd sure hate to meet him in a dark alley without an iron pipe. And it's been said, too, that it would take that to drop him.
Now our ring announcer, Paul Berman, has joined the group in the ring and is conferring with referee Ruby Goldstein as both fighters are nervously shuffling around in their respective corners, talking in hushed tones to their managers. Now Berman signals toward the bell, and let's go into the ring for the introduction of the fighters. Jeffries and Walcott to ring center for their brief conference. We'll be back in 1 minute with the opening bell. Jeffries, a huge man, standing calmly, looking across the ring at a Walcott face expressionless. Walcott on his feet shuffling slightly. There's the bell, and here's Guy.
Thank you very much, Murray Warner. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jersey Joe Walcott coming out to face the famous Jim Jeffries. This commentator immediately wishes to disagree with many who view Jim Jeffries as a club fighter exclusively and without skill. And I think we'll see in this dream computerized match that he's at least something more. Out in the center of the ring, they touch gloves. Jeffries with hand at the hip and left hand partially extended. Jersey Joe Walcott with left hand in lead position, the right hand cocked. Jeffries will not move around very much. Walcott will vary his footwork. Jeffries tries a left hook to the head. Walcott blocks. He has a superior rating defensively, while Jeffries is rated by experts as poor defensively. Walcott has the famous Walcott shift, or the waltz, stopping and moving from side to side, hands down, walking forward, mixing footwork. Jeffries fires a left to the head. Walcott partially blocks, drives a hard right to Jeffries' head. Jeffries mixes deliberately, moves at Walcott and drives left and right to the body. Jeffries misses a left around the neck, and Jersey Joe moves to tie him up. Jim Jeffries with Marciano is considered to be one of the two strongest men in the business. Thus, he is called the Boilermaker. Walcott begins the famous shuffle, walking to his left, sending a right lead out suddenly, walking to his left again, changing direction. Jeffries does not follow. Now Jeffries leaps at Walcott, sending a straight right to the head. Walcott counters with a hard right to Jeffries' head. Jeffries hooks with a right, and they tie each other up. And Walcott takes some token slaps at the body of Jeffries. Nothing critical. Jeffries does not fight much inside. Referee Ruby Goldstein is the great referee in the ring tonight, and he slips over to arbitrate, and I notice that Mr. Goldstein has grown a bit since his boxing days, mostly around the belt. On the break, Jeffries does not wait for the Walcott shift. He drives straight to Walcott's midsection, hooks a left to the body, charges his huge chest, against the smaller Walcott. They barrel him to the ropes. Walcott hooks a left to the head, hooks to the body from the left, misses the chin of Jeffries in close, and Jeffries sends a straight right to the face of Jersey Joe Walcott. Walcott is accustomed to men of this strength. He fought twice with Rocky Marciano and had him beaten till Rocky KO'd him in a latter round in their first fight. Back to the action again. Jeffries, who likes to brawl, scoots in at Walcott. 30 seconds left. He hits the body with a right. He hooks his left around Walcott, and Walcott immediately retreats to get his timing back. Walcott again beginning the shift. Walking to his right, sending his short left jab out, missing, turning right, walking to the left, not throwing, turning right again. Jeffries turns his body with Walcott's direction. Walcott suddenly hooks a good left to the face of Jeffries and whacks the body quickly several times with both hands. Seconds only remaining. There's the bell.
Both Walcott and Jeffries careful and unhurt in round one. No really tough punches were thrown. Walcott flurried briefly as round one ended. There's the bell, and here's Guy.
We already saw the Walcott shift, and now the crowd wants to see the Jeffries they heard about. The burly, two-fisted Jeffries stalks out to the center of the ring, but looking more like a fine, tall, broad, all-American football tackle. Walcott is well built, too. Jeffries circles as Walcott begins to shift left and right. Jeffries throws a left hand. Walcott flicks it off, fakes the left. Jeffries pounds a Boilermaker to the body, and Walcott will always wonder, I think, why he only faked that left. He should have let it go. Jeffries was willing to be hit anyway to get his shot in. Walcott wobbles off to the side. Jeffries, with short steps, moves immediately forward. The left hand churning in front, and the right held steady. Jeffries has a good reach of 76 and a half. Walcott is at 74. Walcott still moving, sidewards, backwards, sidewards, a little bit backwards. Now leaps into Jeffries suddenly, hooks a powerhouse on the nose, but Jeffries, without blinking, rips his own left to the head of Walcott. Walcott still firing, lands a right to the face quickly, and eludes a left thrown at the body as he leaves Jeffries bleeding. He's bleeding. He retreats immediately, and the crowd really comes alive at Walcott's bravado with this two-fisted giant. Jeffries is bleeding at the face. Jeffries follows Walcott to the far side, sends a left lead to the head. Walcott does not return fire. Jeffries fakes his right, sends his left hard to the head again. Walcott sets for the counters, and again lands hard on the face of Jeffries, who is bleeding, as I've said, and then ties Jeffries up. Jim Jeffries has the distinction, by the way, of giving every fighter he ever beat a second chance at him. This is regarded unique in boxing annals. At the center of the ring again, as Ruby Goldstein takes them there, Walcott breaks, lands a straight right at Jeffries' tall head. He misses. Jeffries lands a left to the mouth, left and right to the body, and he has hurt Walcott, and Walcott dances away. Jeffries tries to follow, moves forward a bit faster. He has cornered Walcott so he can't shift or move from side to side. Walcott has to stand there and fight. He exchanges left hook and right to the head with Jeffries. Jeffries has not yet, though, I think, put the true dynamite to his weapons. Jeffries bleeds from a Walcott hook to the nose. Jeffries is wild with a right to the body as he flurries. Now he lands a hard left to the midsection of Walcott, hooks Walcott to the face. Walcott, known as a fine defensive boxer, may now be able to tell us more about Jeffries' power than I can tell you. They clinch at the ropes just above me. Walcott sends a soft left to the head on the break. Jeffries sends a light right to the body. Seconds remaining. Walcott blocks a left at the head, ducks back from a left, which misses to the body. Jeffries is a member of the Boxing Hall of Fame. Walcott sends a short hook to the face, and I think now we've learned Jeffries can't exactly be hit with everything. The bell.
That red flow from the nose of Jeffries was stopped by Bill Brady between rounds, and the action's really picking up in this fight. There's the bell, and here's Guy.
Okay, round three, the Grizzly Bear, Jim Jeffries, who won his title from Bob Fitzsimmons, knocking him out in 11, and Jersey Joe. Walcott, by the way, can cut a man up good. Just ask Rocky Marciano. And Jeffries was once cut to ribbons by Bob Fitzsimmons. At the center of the ring, Jim Jeffries in that well-known semi-crouch. Left hand extended, very low now. Fakes at the body with a left hand. Walcott pulls to his right. Jeffries misses a left to the head. Walcott counters around the left, but misses a right to the body, and Jeffries gets himself tied up. Ruby Goldstein hurries to the center of the ring where the action has been mostly thus far. On the break, Jeffries drives a beautiful left to the body, and Walcott winces. But he begins the Walcott shift in rapid time. Here he is jabbing Jeffries' head with a soft left, missing a left. Jeffries moves right after him. Walcott, of course, must not be caught on the ropes. It can be a Riverdare-cheek quickly with a bruiser like Jeffries. Walcott makes a move, though, on the break, and here's a good straight left to the face by Jersey Joe, and a right cross to Jeffries' head, and then Jeff blocks a left to the head, misses two shots of his own at the body of Walcott, but does make Walcott miss a right at the head. But Walcott sends a good hard hook to the face, and Jeffries is bleeding. He is bleeding, but didn't seem at all to mind the power of the blow. Jeffries, as we have mentioned, once was cut to shreds by Fitzsimmons, but still beat him, while every single knuckle on Bob's hands were broken at the end of the scrap. Ruby Goldstein is here to arbitrate the clinch, and we're ready again. By the way, this bout is coming to you from Convention Hall, Miami, and the 10-point system is in use. That means the loser gets up to 9 points, the winner 10. Jeffries back in that crouch he often fights in, advances on Walcott again, hooks a good left to the body and hard, blocks Walcott's left to his body. Jeff tries to bull Walcott to the ropes, but Walcott delivers left and right to the head, quickly pumps a left from a stride away, and begins the Walcott waltz. Now he is really moving in a fancy gait across Jeffries' path. First in one direction, then the other, and sometimes flicking his left to the face as he does. Jeffries a little bit irritated. He was not hurt by the bomb that broke up his face again. Now, Jeffries busts a high hard one on the head of Walcott, and Jersey Joe has to call for a clinch. But Jeffries won't give him the respite. Jeffries still on the move. Won't allow himself to be tied up. Jeffries whacks the body. Jeffries blasts left and right to the head. There's a wicked left to the body by Jeffries, a right to the jaw by Jeffries, and apparently Jeffries' most feared single punch could be the right to the jaw. And I must say Walcott has flirted with that from time to time. His best bet would apparently be to box and at considerable range, and that's what he's trying to do right now as he comes off the ropes. Joe, a fine pro, though, may even be testing Jeffries' power. I don't know. Here in the third round, with only seconds remaining, Jeffries at work again. Jeffries rips the body at the belt.
Jeffries was bleeding freely, but just seems unconcerned by being hit. He jarred Walcott right to the soles of his feet at the closing seconds of round 3, and here for round 4 is Guy LeBeau.
Thank you, Murray. Here is round 4, coming up, Jersey Joe Walcott and Jim Jeffries, the Boilermaker. At the center of the ring, Walcott jabs a left to the head, and Jeffries returns a jab to the eye. Jeffries fires a right to the body. Walcott misses a short right over the head. Walcott goes into a clinch with Jeffries and ties him up, and they tie each other to a post for the clinch. Jeffries has KO'd 16 men in a relatively short but sensational career. Walcott has been a long campaigner, so long, in fact, he spans 2 generations. He beat Phil and Harold Johnson, father and son, in separate decades. Now back at ring center, Jeffries in that semi-crouch, moving pretty fast to the side. Advances now on Walcott, fires a wicked hard left hook to the head. Walcott misses a left hook, misses a shot at the body, and Jeffries pounds the head again with a solid left, and each time Walcott shudders at the knees. Why would Walcott miss a Jeffries so often? I imagine because after being rocked by a Jeffries blast, he's bound to be off balance or hazy at least. Walcott again, feinting the left, jabbing with the left, not moving as much now. Now he turns southpaw for the moment, switches back and rips the face with a beautiful 1-2 combination, and Jeffries is bleeding again, this time from the eye. Walcott has a river started there this time. He goes back to the eye attack. He smells the possibility of a TKO. He'd love that. Jeffries carries the right higher now. His right eye is bloody, and he wants the clinch and wants it badly. And referee Goldstein speeds to the man this side of the ring to break them up. Jeffries comes right in off the clinch. Walcott is trying to pick his shots and aim for the eye. He jabs a left there, but takes a wicked blast at the body from Jeffries' right. Jeffries pounds Walcott's chest, and Walcott is thrown back by the force of the blow against the ropes. Jeffries rips the head with a left. pounds hard at the body. Walcott, who can hit, is in harm's way, though, but still has the presence of mind to counter with a hard right to the head, and as he goes into a clinch, wraps the body close with both hands. A great rally, though, by Jeffries. Some thunderous hitting, but Walcott still stands. How, I don't know. And referee Goldstein goes to break them up. Jeffries' opponents have gone 9 rounds on average, which is a longer route than for most of the champions in this tourney, but possibly his slugging is not as accurate. Coming off the clinch across the ring, Jeffries has to spin a full turn with a moving Walcott, who jabs to the head. Does the Walcott shift? Taunts Jeffries to return the right, but instead, Jeffries rips that big, great left hand to the head, and Walcott just barely makes the block on that big club and immediately falls to another clinch. Inside, though, Jeffries fights the body, and Walcott gives Jeffries the shoulder treatment to this cut eye, and he picks up a lot of Jeffries' blood on his own skin. Now the clinch is tight, and here is Ruby Goldstein to try to pry them apart. He does. They move out to the center of the ring. Jeffries with a head blast at the bell.
Jeffries really hurt Walcott in round 4, landing solidly with both hands, but the Boilermaker's face has 3 places that have been cut. The bleeding stopped now. Here's the bell, and here's Guy.
We hope that you're enjoying this great computerized fight between Jersey Joe Walcott and Jim Jeffries. Walcott has drawn blood of Jeffries a couple of times, but Jeffries has drawn Walcott's strength. Still, Walcott is a well-conditioned looking athlete, a fine broad shoulder, little suppression at the hips, legs not too brawny but fast. Walcott misses a hook over the head. Jeffries misses a right hand. He hits with a grazing left hand to the mouth of Walcott, and Walcott falls into an immediate clinch. Referee Ruby Goldstein breaks them up at the center of the ring. And swiftly from the break, Jeffries fires 2 rights to the body. Jeffries can be very fast in spurts, and contrary to popular belief, he not only has boxing style, I've seen him use 3 different stances and styles in one fight. He's strong as a herd of bulls. Out to the action again. Walcott, out of a tie-up, jabs the head. Jeffries cracks the body with a good right. Walcott still walking back and forth in the shift. Suddenly rips a right to the body hard. There is a gorgeous left hook to the head by Walcott, and Jeffries is mad about fighting the stalking man. Jeffries comes back. Here he drives a right to the body, and immediately Walcott favors a clinch again. Jeffries tries to work a hand free, but cannot do so successfully. Now they're parted in the corner to my right. Jeffries, who can really get mad in the ring, though being a good-natured fellow, once knocked Bob Fitzsimmons out cold seconds after Bob said something to him. What he said, we don't know. Walcott now finds himself too near the ropes for comfort. He immediately goes into another clinch, working himself around now so that he can move out the ring center as Ruby Goldstein pries him apart. Here's Jeffries moving in, and in close quarters with a hand free wraps the body. Walcott working free again, hooks the head twice, and goes immediately into another clinch. He is going to set the tempo for this bout. At least that's what he's thinking. On the break, Walcott misses a left over the head of Jeffries, who leaned way back to avoid the blow. And look out! Jeffries bombs Walcott's head with a terrific left hook. A straight right to the jaw by Jeffries. Walcott has to back off or fall off. The crowd is roaring. Both men are exceptionally popular. They have large following. Walcott wants the clinch. Jeffries knocks Walcott's grasping hand down. Whacks the head again with left and right, and Walcott is down. Walcott is down. Here's the count. 3, 4. He'll get up all right. He's rising. 7. He is up. He went down from a brutal head attack. He looks shaken, but his eyes are clearing. I can see him clearly just a couple of feet away. Ruby Goldstein cleaning off his gloves, and now Jeffries champing at the bit, and the referee signals, let's go. Jeffries rushes to the task. Jeffries pounds left and right to the head. Walcott still stands. He blocks another shot at the head. He takes a vicious right to the heart from Jeffries. Jeffries has had his man down. There's the bell.
Walcott was barely hanging on under fire when the bell ended round 5, but looks recovered now. His cornermen work feverishly between rounds. The bell, and here's Guy.
This could be a critical round for Joe Walcott. Some say he's easy to hit and that he has a high-grade defense, others say. I say his counterpunching is mean. At ring center, Jim Jeffries drives a hard right to the body. He wants to follow Joe to the ropes immediately, but Walcott pushes a good jab on the face, and while Jim Jeffries is flicking it off, Joe makes his getaway. Walcott comes back again, feints with the left, doesn't throw it. Jeffries comes out of that deep crouch. He's standing now straight up. Incidentally, Jeffries invented the crouch in boxing, they say, but he can fight in any style and often shows 3 different ones in any given fight. Walcott moving from side to side, takes a hard right to the body. Jeffries sometimes will use that shot to set up a man for the finishing left hook. Walcott moves away. Now Walcott moves in, sends a straight right to the head. That was a nifty shot, and the crowd cheers. Game Jersey Joe. Jeffries misses a jab at long range. His left hand now is held high. Walcott misses a hook, and Jeffries leaps to him. It was a mistake for Joe. Jeffries is in there, now pounding the head with left and right, and goes into a clinch again, but jams the body with short hooks. So Walcott gets no help from the clinch whatsoever, and Jeffries got everything going his way. Referee Goldstein working now. He hasn't seen much action lately, but he will, you better believe. With Jeffries in the ring facing the unorthodox Joe Walcott, you do feel a certain tension, waiting for the traditional Jeffries explosion. Now out at the clinch, here is Walcott breaking quickly, dancing around Jeffries, who hasn't lowered the guard yet. Walcott, who was staggered or fog-bound by those head clouds, simply wants elbow room. That's apparently all, and he dances away from Jeffries. Walcott walks in, jabs the face, got away with that. Lands 2 light hooks to the body, got away with that. And now Jeffries leaps a foot in the air with both feet off the ground and rams Walcott in the teeth. There is a great hook. And again, Jeffries ravages the head and face with right and left. A right to the head by Jeffries, and Walcott wants help immediately. He goes to the clinch and ties Jeffries up. Walcott is fast afoot, and he'll have to put the speed sneakers on now. He is not hitting hard enough to belt with Jeffries. He cannot risk Jeffries' strong counters. He can knock out Jeffries if he hits him right, but not right now when this guy is in Fat City and strong as a bull. So on the break, Walcott puts on the wings. He walks the left lane. He switches on Jeffries. He makes the great man miss 2 lefts over the head. Seconds remaining. Here's a right to the mouth, missed by Jeffries, and Jeffries goes in to tie up his man. On the break, a short hook to the body by Jeffries, and there's the bell.
Jeffries kept the pressure on Jersey Joe in round 6, pounding both head and body, while Joe had to land softies defensively. There's the bell, and here's Guy.
Thank you, Murray Warren, and our computer is doing something about telling us about the staying power of Jersey Joe Walcott. At the center of the ring, Jersey Joe draws a left lead, jabs to the head, and runs off. Jeffries standing straight up now, exactly as he fought the great Bob Fitzsimmons. Walcott jabs the head again, menaces the right, walks away, as Jeffries misses a left over the head. Sometimes it actually seems to me as if Walcott is jesting in these maneuvers. They're so offbeat. Jeffries moves on Walcott, misses a left to the head again, and Walcott, taking advantage, pops a light right to the body, but Jeffries beautifully pulls up the left and drives it hard to the head of Walcott, and they move into a clinch immediately. Walcott commanding that ship for the moment. Referee Ruby Goldstein gets him apart and out to the center of the ring. Jeffries has always been one of the most fiercely popular fighters in the business. In fact, he's been giving boxing exhibitions on stage. Back to business go the men again. Jeffries a little more huddled this time in that deep crouch. Walcott using the fabulous Walcott shift. Here's Joe going to the left, suddenly popping at the body with the left and lands. Walcott is throwing nothing hard. What he is throwing couldn't make Jeffries sweat at this time. Jeffries advancing on Walcott near the ropes. Walcott dances away and out of range. Jeffries rushes him to try to counter him. He gets him, rips a hard left to the midsection. Walcott is out though, and whacking the head with the left hand as he says bye-bye to that scene. Joe is not making the fight. It is Jeffries who is. Jersey, though, is a clever tactician who picks his shots, and Jeffries is a target for a left hook. Remember that. They're tied up now across the ropes. Jeffries pumps both times to the body as he wiggles one hand free, and you get the feeling he's going to break down the rib cage of Jersey Joe yet. Walcott screws his body down tight to reduce the target, and he is wincing. I can clearly see that. Finally, he manages to secure the flailing hands of Jeffries, and now they are tied up indeed. Referee Ruby Goldstein to the scene. By the way, Walcott's family is at the arena. His son wants to follow Dad in his boxing career. At the center of the ring again after the break, Walcott again speeds back and forth in front of Jeffries. Big Jim carefully plods in forward, trying to time himself to Walcott's shift. Now he leaps at Joe. The timing's good. He rocks him with a hard left hook to the head, a right to the face, and Joe just slipped that blow a little bit, or his head would have come off for sure. Walcott swiftly dancing around Jeffries, hooks his own left to the head, no power. He's on the move. He jabs to the nose, jabs at the head and lands. Jeffries fires a straight right at the body, a hard left to the midsection, and they are knotted. Jeffries simply does not mind anything Walcott is throwing. Some say Walcott is easy to hit, but I'd say Walcott can be hit, but the punch is always losing something on the landing. Seconds only remaining in this round, and there's the bell.
Seven was more of the same. Jeffries taking the best Joe Walcott can throw, not indicating he feels it, jarring Walcott with heavy shots of his own, the bell and Guy LeBeau.
Okay, Walcott danced to safety that time with all muscles going in all directions. The problem still is Big Jim Jeffries, and out at ring center, Jeffries is the aggressor. He immediately wings the body with a hard left hand, and before Walcott can move out of range, Jim sends a torrid uppercut to Joe's heart. Jeffries has put men away with great power, hitting at the heart, and Walcott immediately takes cover, tying Jeffries up. Ruby Goldstein coming to break them up. Joe now makes it to his bicycle. He is moving very fast. Jeffries misses a left to the head, misses another left to the face, a left to the head, missed by Jeffries. Walcott sliding back and forth, not throwing, and the crowd beginning to sense this may be the only fight he can make right now. Here's Joe, though, timing beautifully, stepping in and out in a flash, slapping the head with the left and driving a nice right to the body, outspeeding Jeffries' guards, and Jeffries could not get set. Now they're over at the far ropes, but not on the hip. Jeffries crowding Walcott then, but again misses the head, lands a light right. Walcott is moving left, and Joe throws a goodbye right to the nose. That lands as he speeds off. Jeffries again leaps at Walcott and is off balance and trips a little, but pulls up safely. Now out at the center of the ring, Walcott made no effort to get at Jeffries while he was off and stumbling. Jeffries standing straight up, now tries a left to the head and moves swiftly to trap Joe. He brings his right uppercut to the chin again, but Joe only took part of the force, and as he leaves, rams a solid left and right to the body, and the crowd cheers his fine counterpunching. Beautiful, just beautiful. Jeffries moves for the clinch, and the big man is using the clinch now to retrench his attack, and often does to make sure he has an opponent in there. Walcott has been a will-o'-the-wisp from time to time and has in this round. Ruby Goldstein draws the men out to the center of the ring again, and one can now assess that Walcott is another ex-great champion who has been underestimated. His Walcott shift, purely his own invention, stamps him as one of the innovators of the ring. Here against Jeffries, it's the one instrument he has. He's using it well. Out at the center, Jeffries misses a left to the head. Walcott slips nicely. Joe started a left to the body, pulls it back. Jeffries at the advantage now, and here's Jim. Here's a hard left and right to the body. He's beginning a sustained attack. Another wicked left and right by Jeffries, and Jeffries tags the Walcott midsection again. He is able to land another blow. The body shots are paralyzing. Walcott needs the clinch and is hanging over the ropes right at our microphone. Ruby Goldstein speeds to the scene. The men are taking an extra break, I think, as they are moved back to the center, and on the break, Jeffries jabs lightly on the head. Walcott hooks to the head and keeps his body out of range. Jeffries feints the right at the bell.
Walcott and Jeffries were breathing hard as round 8 ended, but Jeffries clearly is in control of this fight and landed well to Walcott's body. Here's the bell and here's Guy.
Okay, Murray, the big NCR 315 computer is telling us that Jeffries is not a stumble bomb as a boxer. We add that his defeat of Corbett and Fitzsimmons needed considerable boxing acumen. Now at the center of the ring, Walcott places a sneak left to the head. Jeffries sneaks his own left to the body as Walcott begins his trot again. Walcott must keep moving and away from the ropes. Walcott jabs the head once, twice with left hands. Again, Jeffries sneaks a good left to the body. Walcott misses a right over the head in the counter and tags the ribs lightly as he dances away, smiling yet. Here is Jeffries leaping forward. Here is Jeffries to pound the torrid fist to the body. The left was leveled at the head, but hits the chin, and Walcott reels back. Walcott is against the ropes. Jeffries pounding left and right to the body. Walcott's legs sag, but he grabbed Jeffries' hands. Jeff gets a loose arm free. Jeff punishes the neck. Walcott hangs on, and the crowd is on its feet. Ruby Goldstein comes in to separate them. Walcott has been reeling. Jeffries, who in my opinion is excellent in working out solutions to style, has used a leap and quick advance forward to stop the Walcott shift. He tried to move with him, but that did not work. Now Jeffries pounds the body hard, and it has to be taking the stamina out of Jersey Joe, or at least that which is left. On the break, Walcott seems to be flying sails that say, "Man, I'm tired." He walks to his left. Jeffries comes scooting in, but Joe bumps twice to the head and ties him up again securely. He is a fine old pro at the fence. Here at Miami Convention Hall, Jersey Joe Walcott and the legendary James Jeffries. And what a blockbuster event it would be if Marciano and this guy met in the ring. It would probably break up this planet. But Walcott is a lot hardier than he looks. At the break, Walcott moves more briskly now, putting a left jab to the head. He feints his left hand again. Jeffries sneaks under, plows a hard left to the midsection, and one more left to the body before he moves out. Joe speeds away from him as quickly as he can. He misses a left over the head, and some of those misses may be taking some of the tar out of him, too. Now Walcott spots an opening, moves in, drives a left to the body, not with great power, and Jeffries simply ties him up. Ruby Goldstein speeding over to the scene. Little remains in round 9. Joe was staggered earlier. He seems better now. Again, they go into a clinch. 30 seconds remaining. Walcott, on the break, takes a pounding from Jeffries as he took from Joe Louis for 15 rounds. Some say he should have gotten that decision. At ring center, Walcott seemingly conscious now of ring position, jabs a left to the mouth. Jeffries catches Joe again on the leap. There is a storm of rights and lefts to the body. Jeffries smashes the face and head. Joe reeling back again. Jeffries fires left and right to the body. Walcott is a helpless mass out there, and the bell, which should sound in seconds, would save Walcott for one more round. There it is.
Jersey Joe was badly hurt in round 9, and the bell bailed him out. He looks tired and hurt. Jeffries calm and sure in his corner. There's the bell, and here's Guy.
Okay, Murray, it's just a matter, I think, of how far can this guy really go. Immediately at ring center, Jeffries fires a right to the body. Walcott speeding away. He flicks 2 left jabs to the face as he moves on. Jeffries misses a right to the body. Jeffries is in a deep crouch now with the left hand held extraordinarily high, apparently wishing to be near Walcott's head at all times. Jeffries rips a left to the head. Walcott blocks 2 lefts to the head which follow. Walcott is a very serious gent in there, in deep trouble in the last round. He has to stay away from those ropes. He moves back and forth. Jeffries leveling those fists at him, rocking back and forth on his heels, and looking so much like a giant steamboat motor. Jeffries feints the right. Walcott dances away, throws left and right at Jeffries' head, and Jeffries ties him up. Ruby Goldstein gets them apart. Walcott moves back toward the ropes. He's in deep water. He has been scoring with jabs and hooks here, but he does no damage that appears to be discernible. Jeffries misses the right again, but sends the straight left to the body of Walcott. Walcott finds it hard to block that. In the Walcott shift to the left, his hands are sometimes not in perfect blocking position. Walcott dances back with an oof framed at his mouth. Jeffries leaps at him. Jeffries pounds a hard left and right at the body. Walcott hurt again by those bursting bombs. Walcott Walcott in defense pumps the left in the eye of Jeffries, who is bounded slightly, but Walcott is the target now. Walcott takes crushing lefts and rights to the midsection that hurt. Walcott hangs on to Jeffries. Jeffries blows him into the ropes. Joe is pounding Jeffries' head as they fall back toward the ropes, and they're tied up again with everybody in the place standing up. Walcott simply cannot take much more. Ruby Goldstein is out there to separate them. He has said something to each as he separates the men at ring center. Jeffries beginning again, feints with the right. Walcott moves back slightly. Jeffries shoots a hard left to the body. Walcott is a sitting duck. He's hurt. He's hurt. Jeffries hooks a left to the head, a right to the jaw. Walcott is now defenseless. He's through, I'm sure of that. He is through. There's a right to the face, a right and left to the jaw, and Walcott is down. Walcott is down in a small huddle. Walcott is down. The count is 5, 6, 7. He can't make it. 8, 9, 10. Walcott is out. Jersey Joe Walcott has been knocked out by Jeffries. He took an inhuman beating for several rounds, stood all he could. The head punches preceded by the body-crushing blows, simply intolerable. Jersey Joe Walcott is down and out. Okay, Murray.
Thanks, Guy, and wow, what a finish. Jeffries simply poured those hooks to Walcott, and the man from Jersey went down like a felled tree. Walcott still hasn't fully recovered from the KO. Ring position and referee Ruby Goldstein are in the corner with him, and with his seconds. Joe was very wobbly when they helped him to the corner. Now Paul Berman is signaling for quiet, and as this crowd starts to calm down, let's go into the ring for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in 2 minutes, 25 seconds of the 10th round by a knockout, the Boilermaker from Canada, Ohio, Jim Jeffries.
Well, that's it. The official result is Jim Jeffries scoring a knockout victory over Jersey Joe Walcott in the 10th round. We'll be back with a review of this fight and a look at next week's match in just 1 minute.
Fight staged anywhere at all.
Guy, as long as 2 guys with courage and strength and skill are around, we've always the chance of a great fight. And I'm sure that at this point, almost the halfway mark in our tournament, we're perfectly safe in saying you ain't heard nothing yet.
Okay, then let's take a look at this excellent fight tonight. Jersey Joe Walcott, a fine fighter and a guy who gave all he could during his entire career. But tonight, running into one of the biggest guns and toughest fighters the ring has ever seen. At the moment of the knockout in the 10th round, it was Jeffries' fight all the way, although both men did start cautiously, obviously feeling each other out. From the 3rd round on, Jeffries was in complete control. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Jersey Joe was just unable to land hard enough to make Jeffries really exercise caution. And without any great finesse, or not too much, Jeffries simply banged away till he put Jersey Joe away. Joe never seemed to recover from those solid shots to the head and body in the 3rd and 4th rounds, in my opinion, and the knockdown in the 5th taught him that he just could not stand toe-to-toe with the Boilermaker. His devastating punching power and seeming imperviousness to being hurt resulted in Joe getting the first taste of the canvas.
Now let's take a look at a fast summary of the fight on a round-by-round basis. Round 1 saw both Jeffries and Walcott carefully feeling each other out. No damage done, the round was even. Both scored with hooks in round 2, but again, neither showed signs of being hurt as the feeling out process continued. In round 3, Walcott fancied damned a cut on the face of Jeffries, scored with a couple of rights to the head, but the round was Jeffries as he slammed left and rights to the head and body, jolting Walcott badly. Walcott landed some solid jabs and a couple of lefts to the head in the 4th, opening another cut, this one over Jeffries' eye, but again, the more solid punches were Jeffries, and his hooks to the head and body won him the round despite the cuts. Round 5 pointed the beginning of the end for Jersey Joe, as he and Jeffries stood toe-to-toe and Walcott landing his best shots. His Sunday punch couldn't get the big man off the dime. And finally, Jeffries drove Walcott down for an 8 count with repeated headshots.
From the 6th on up to the 10th round, Walcott took almost unbelievable punishment. Badly hurt in the 6th round as Jeffries landed solid lefts to the head and dropped to the body with hard right shots that were scoring very well. 7th round, more of the same. Jeffries kept up the pursuit, landing with just about everything and just about everywhere. Jeffries eased up a little bit, understandably, in the 8th round, landing well, but seeming to take a breather. The belts just didn't have as much steam in them in the 9th round as well. Jeffries then came out for the kill and belted away with both hands, hurting Walcott repeatedly. He had Jersey Joe hanging on, trying to survive. And in that fateful 10th, the gunny man from New Jersey just had taken all that he could. Jeffries finally ended it when Goldstein told 10 over the fallen Jersey Joe. And so, Jim Jeffries moves on to the quarterfinals of this tournament, where he'll meet the winner of next week's battle between Cassius Clay and Max Schmeling. Now, we'll be right back to Miami Convention Hall with more expert opinions.
Well, guys, so far in our tournament, we've had Dempsey beat Corbett, Sullivan down Braddock, Lewis beat Willard, Fitzsimmons defeat Sharkey, Bear upset Jack Johnson, Marciano win over Tunney, and Jeffries beat Walcott. We've had wins we expected, and some rather startling upsets. And the best of our experts was only right 5 out of 7 times. But I guess that's the nature of the sport. You put 2 great heavyweights in the ring, and let's face it, these have all been great. It's tough to predict how a fight between them will go.
Well, I, for one, am very glad, Murray, that I don't have to reveal what my own predictions for this tournament have been, because I've been a little bit wrong on several occasions at least.
I don't mind admitting, Guy, that I was wrong about 4 of the first 7, but I'll never say which 4. I don't feel too badly about that, though, since most of our experts were just as wrong as I am. Let's look back at how the experts picked this fight. The odds were set, making Walcott a 7-5 favorite, and our panel was pretty well split. 4 picking Jeffries, 6 going with Jersey Joe.
Walcott seemed pretty confident that he would win.
Again, I say if the fight was within a range of 15-round fights, I think I could do very well against him. I think I could win either by knockout or by decision.
Jess Willard picked Jeffries.
I think that Jeffries is in his prime. He'd lick anybody. He did.
Rocky Marciano picked Jeffries, too, but Rock didn't sound that positive about it.
Just on the image of what we know today, I think you might have to say Jeffries.
Jack Sharkey liked Walcott.
I favor Walcott in that respect because Walcott was shifting, a good boxer, move on his feet, while the other fellow be just coming in the straight line.
Jim Braddock picked Jeffries.
Jersey Joe Walcott is on. He'd have to lose to Jeffrey.
Matt Fleischer solidly in Jeffries' corner.
I think Jeffries would have stopped him within 5 or 6 rounds easily.
Angelo Dundee picked Walcott.
I don't think the strength and endurance of a Jeffries will be able to withstand the cunning and the punch of a Walcott.
Next week's fight, and this is the last one in the first round of our computerized all-time heavyweight championship tournament, should be another great one, and a controversial one. It matches 2 of the most argued-about fighters of all time, the mighty German Max Schmeling and Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, the sensational Louisville Lip.
Angelo Dundee, who trains and manages fighters in Miami Beach's 5th Street Gymnasium, has helped us immeasurably, as you know, in putting together this computerized all-time heavyweight tournament. This gave me the opportunity to ask Angelo some pointed questions about Muhammad Ali, whom he trained and managed also briefly. If there's any man in the world who really knows about Cassius Clay's qualifications as a fighter, it would be Angelo Dundee. So we asked him about Clay's courage. But we also asked him about that story. You know, the one about having to push Clay out of the corner in the 4th round during his championship fight with Sonny Liston?
I have to say he got all kinds of courage. First of all, because anyone with 138 amateur fights, anyone that's undefeated heavyweight champion, got to have a lot of courage. He'll fight anybody. This proves his guts. The episode with Liston is overdone. The episode, if I was in this position, I probably would have jumped out of the ring. Because here you are in a fight, fighting for the championship of the world. You're a young kid, 22. And here you are, you can't see. So what are you going to do? Are you going to get in there and try to fight? I think the reaction was hysteria. It wasn't lack of guts. It was nothing of the kind. He just couldn't see. And he wanted everybody to know that something was being done to him. Whereas the only thing that was being done was accidental. I feel that Sonny Liston had some ingredients in his eye that was caustic. They stopped the bleeding too quick. for it to be a natural ingredient, a coagulant. The ingredient from his eye got on his forehead. The sweating from Clay's forehead went into both eyes together. I knew it was there because I put my finger in the corner of his eye and put it into my eye, and it burnt.
Well, that certainly is a lucid explanation of one of the weirdest incidents in the history of boxing.
I also asked Angelo if Clay could take a punch.
He takes an excellent punch. Proved it to me in 3-4 fights. The one fight he proved it to me was Archie Moore. Archie Moore trapped him in our corner. Archie Moore nailed him a shot, and I seen the muscles in his neck double up. I seen him brace his feet and took it right on the chin. I seen him get hit a shot from Henry Cooper early in the fight and almost got his nose broken. People don't even know this in the first round. All they mention is the knockdown. He got hit a harder shot in the first round. And the shot that he got knocked down with, his reaction was when he came back to the corner, I said, "See that? You made the mistake." He says, "Shh, the guy's getting tired."
In just 1 minute, we'll be back with more observations and analysis on heavyweight champion Cassius Clay and on Max Schmeling. Back at Miami Convention Hall, where tonight J Jeffries defeated Joe Walcott in the 10th round on a knockout. Next week, in this arena, the Louisville Lip, Cassius Clay meets the pride of Germany, Max Schmeling.
Well, it may be, after all, that Cassius Clay is the fastest heavyweight of all time. I sincerely believe he is. Surely he's as well-conditioned as anyone in this tournament. He has blinding hand speed. He is enormously fast at the feet. He is so quick that he fights with his gloves at his waist often, almost daring his opponent to hit him. Cassius is unbeaten in 29 professional fights. He has 24 KOs to his record. He is a striking figure of a man. He stands 6'3", 211 pounds, and just 22 years old as he enters this tourney. But can Muhammad Ali take a punch?
Maybe we can answer that question next week. We know that Max Schmeling can deliver a punch. Schmeling knocked out Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber, in 1936, the only man ever to knock Louis out in Joe's prime. Max was an 8-1 underdog that night. He's a 2-1 underdog next week against Clay.
You know, Max Schmeling had stamina, too. Remember, it was the 12th round before he got around to Joe Louis. And staying power has always been one of Clay's fine points also. So this really should be a great match.
Schmeling could hit. In 71 fights, he had his opponents down 53 times. A top-notch counterpuncher, Schmeling can really hit with the right hand to the head and with his left hook, too. He fights all styles, stand up, in a crouch, and he'll need that to stay with Clay. I asked Clay about Schmeling.
For Louis beat Max Schmeling, one of his greatest fights. Schmeling was big and slow and awkward and fat and out of shape, and he just stood there flat-footed and let Louis punch him. When he got up, he didn't move, he didn't run, he just stood there and let Louis punch him. You can't compare these fellows with me. You just might as well face it. None of these fellows could touch me in the ring.
Angelo Dundee has a little more respect for Schmeling.
Max Schmeling was a good, cute fighter. He would give you the bob and the weave and look to lead you into a right-hand shot. I seen the fight when he knocked out Louis. He'd throw a left lead to the body, and Louis would come in, and he would nail him with the right hand. He must have been a tremendous puncher. He was a very good feiner. He made good moves. He made moves where he made you, trapped you.
Joe Louis thought Schmeling would pin Clay down. We asked him about it.
I would have to pick Schmeling, because I think that he would eventually catch Clay, because Clay keeps his hand out awful lot, you know, and it moves against the ropes and just gets somewhat tangled up into the ropes, and so I would have to pick Schmeling.
Rocky Marciano, he's undefeated as Clay is, but for a longer time, of course. He's impressed by Clay's speed.
I think that Schmeling has got something going for him here. He's got that stiff right-hand punch. The present champion couldn't make any mistakes with a Schmeling, but I think the present champion perhaps could have beat Max Schmeling because of Schmeling being slow and methodical. And I think that in his prime, I would have to go with the present champion.
We talked to Schmeling himself, and he thought he saw a way to take Clay.
Well, I'd like to fight him. I saw him, I studied him very good, but it's a little too late to study him. 20 years ago would be much better. But I think I had a good chance, because I was a good counter puncher, and I had a pretty good right hand, and if he would stand in front of me like he was standing in front of Terrell, you remember maybe the picture, I would let him go.
You think you would catch up with him and put him away?
Go catch him Clay? Well, you know, it's easy to say yes or no, you know.
I'm talking about you 25 years ago.
Well, I think I had a good chance, yes.
Everybody seems to have followed Clay. Jack Sharkey, the former champion and a pretty good talker himself, had this to say.
Clay is in there for a long time, and as I say, that he'll die of old age unless someone drops a bag of cement in his head as he's walking down the street, and he's a good fighter. Don't make any mistakes about it. You take a young fella that's gone through the mill, fought all of these so-called great guys he's heard so much about, and when he's with a guy with a chip on his shoulder, and he's 21, 22, 23 years old, it's going to be a hard man to beat.
How do you think Schmeling would have done with Clay?
I think Clay would have beat him easily. Schmeling was a forward fighter, so he'd be running into Clay's left hand.
Jim Braddock liked Clay, too.
Well, I think Clay was a little too fast. We'd have to look to see a little more study on Clay if anybody corners him and see how he'll come out of it. He's not been cornered yet. You see, he's the type of fellow, he's so fast. For a heavyweight, his speed is phenomenal. Nobody's ever been that fast as a heavyweight. And he more or less tires the fella out just chasing him, because the other fella's tensed at all times looking to punch him.
Matt Fleischer, publisher of Ring Magazine, was one of the experts who went with Schmeling. He said,
in his career, he would probably have knocked out Clay before the end of the 15th round.
But Joe Walcott was equally confident that Clay would win.
Well, this would be a terrific fight. I think Clay is the greatest heavyweight champion we've ever had. I think he boxes as well as any champion we've ever had, and I think he knows what he's doing while he's in that ring. However, you must admit that Schmeling was a terrific puncher, and he too knew what he was doing at all times in that ring, and a good boxer. I would be inclined to think that I think the present champ would win a decision.
In all, 6 of our ring experts picked Clay, 4 picked Schmeling. Clay is a 2-1 favorite, and we'll be back in just a minute to wrap up tonight's action. Well, that's about it for tonight from Miami Convention Hall, where tonight in the 7th fight of the first series of all-time heavyweight tournament matches, Jersey Joe Walcott was defeated by Jim Jeffries by a knockout in the 10th round. Jeffries will now meet next week's winner between Clay and Schmeling in the tournament quarterfinals on November 27th. Remember, next week, same time, same station, Cassius Clay, the undefeated Louisville Lip, meets Max Schmeling, the pride of Germany. Until then, this is Murray Warner.
And Guy LeBeau. Thank you. See you next week. Good night.